Hi, I'm Isri Kaushani, and today I'm going to be discussing about the basics of foundation computing. The main topics we will be discussing here is the hardware components, data representation in computer, logic gates, network topology, and etc. When we talk about the computer, we can't leave out the CPU. The central processing unit is the primary component of any digital computer system. It is consisting of the main memory, the control unit, and the arithmetic logic unit. This is the physical heart of the entire computer system. As I mentioned before, the major components of the CPU are ALU, main storage, and control unit. Now let's identify these separately. Firstly, arithmetic logic unit, which is divided into two subsections, namely arithmetic unit and logic unit. The arithmetic unit's function is to perform arithmetic operations such as addition, subtraction, and division. The logic unit's function is to perform logical operations on data. The memory or main storage has the capability of storing instructions, data, and intermediate results. When necessary, this unit sends data to other computer units. Lastly, the control unit. It manages the operations of all computer components but does not perform any actual data processing. Now let's move on to the next topic, functions of the CPU. There are four main functions of CPU, which are fetch, decode, execute, and store. Fetch is where each instruction is stored in the memory and has its own address. The processor takes this address number from the program counter, which is responsible for tracking which instructions the CPU should execute next. Decode is where all programs to be executed are translated to assembly instructions. Assembly code must be decoded into binary instructions, which are understandable to your CPU. This step is called decoding. And execute is where, when executing instructions, the CPU can do one of three things: do calculations with its ALU, move data from one memory location to another, or jump to a different address. Store. The CPU must give feedback after executing an instruction, and the output data is written to the memory. These are four basic functions of CPU. Next, if we talk about the components in the computer, whether it's a gaming system or a home PC, the present-day computer includes the following components: the motherboard, CPU, GPU, which is also known as a video card, RAM, solid-state drive or hard disk drive. If we talk briefly, all components of a computer communicate through a circuit board called the motherboard. We can think the motherboard as the glue that holds everything else together. We already talked about the CPU, so I'll just pass it. Graphic cards often communicate directly with the display monitor, meaning $1,000 graphic cards won't be of much use if there isn't a high-end monitor connected to it. Random access memory helps programs and games start up and close quickly. Lastly, all computers need somewhere to store their data. Modern computers either use a HDD or an SSD. HDDs are made of an actual disk into which data is stored. The disk is read by a mechanical arm. SSDs have no moving parts and are faster than a hard drive because no time is spent waiting for a mechanical arm to find data on a physical location on the disk. The next topic I'm going to talk about is also related to computer storage. Storage media. Today there are three types of media used to store computer data: magnetic storage, optical storage, and solid-state storage. Magnetic storage is one of the most common types of storage used with the computers. Hard drives, magnetic strips, SuperDisk are examples for magnetic storage devices. Another common type of storage is optical storage, which uses lasers and lights as its method of reading and writing data. Blu-ray disc, CD, DVD are some examples for optical storage devices. Solid-state storage has replaced most magnetic and optical media as it becomes cheaper. because it's the more efficient and reliable solution. USB flash drive is the most common example for solid storage device. Data representation. As seen in the screen, data representation is the form in which data is stored, processed, and transmitted. To make sense of complicated data, the computer uses binary. The next topic, encryption, prevents individuals from hacking data, and as it makes the data meaningless, so that even if someone hacks the data will not make any sense. Images are represented in computer systems through matrices of numbers, where these numbers are known as pixel values. 0 represents black and 255 represents white. Sound needs to be converted for binary when it is being processed. To do this, sound is captured usually by a microphone or another device, and then it is converted into a digital signal. Data compression processes the power and storage space, which is very valuable on a computer. It reduces the file size, which brings out a lot of benefits to a computer. The two main types of compression are lossy and lossless. Now let's to one of our main topics, logic gates. Logic gates make decisions so that the electrical outputs only turn on when the correct logic sequence has been applied. These truth tables can be used to trace the output from a logic gate or logic circuit. There are 7 known logic gates, which are AND, NOT, OR, NAND, NOR, XOR, and XNOR. Now let's discuss about computer networks. A computer network is a group of computers linked to each other that enables the computer to communicate with another computer and share their resources, data, and applications. A computer network can be categorized by their size. A computer network is mainly of 4 types: large area network, private area network, metropolitan area network, and wide area network. The local area network is a group of computers connected to each other in a small area such as a building or an office. Personal area network is a network arranged within an individual person, typically within a range of 10 meters. A metropolitan area network is a network that covers a larger geographical area by interconnecting a different land to form a larger network. Government agencies use MAN to connect to the citizens and private industries. In MAN, various LANs are connected to each other through a telephone exchange line. Lastly, the most important one, a wide area network is a network that extends over a large geographical area such as states or countries. The Internet is one of the biggest WAN in the world. Now that we talked about network types, let's move on to the next topic. How do computers transmit media? The transmission media are chiefly categorized as below, which can be further classified in accordance to the type and quality of the transmission: guided media and unguided media. Guided media transmission is further classified into 3 different types based in type of connecting material used for creating network. And unguided transmission media is further classified into 3 types with respect to the signals used for the transmission. The picture shown in the slide clearly shows it. The World Wide Web is also known as the web, and it consists of several components known as HTML, HTTP, and URL. Now, for the final topic that I will be discussing today, computer network topology. There are 6 known computer network topologies, and they are bus, ring, star, mesh, tree, and point-to-point topology. Network topology is the physical and logical arrangement of nodes and connections in a network. Nodes usually include devices such as routers and software with switch and router features. The picture included in this slide shows all the network topologies that I've mentioned before. I thank you for listening until the end.